Welcome back guys, it's Colin with the Sun Pirates TCG, and today we are doing our reviews of GD02. So as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be breaking it up by color, so today's video will be about blue. I'm going to try to give a more generalized view of each of the main factions and archetypes in each color, since a lot of these cards want to play within their own faction. For instance, like in blue we have the Titans that want other Titans in play to enable certain things, and the same goes for like Clan in red, or Earth Federation or Gundam H stuff in green. So while I won't be going over every single card per se, I will go over the ones that I deem are most notable, plus a few outliers outside of, like their own factions as well. So yeah, let's just get right into it. But before we do, remember to like and subscribe so we can do more videos like this. But yeah, for blue, we have mainly the Titans as the main faction. This is spearheaded by, of course, the LR Psycho Gundam. It's a big boss monster. It's a level 6 4 cost, 4/5 in stats. It's the same stat line as like the Wing Gundam from the starter decks. But yeah, it also naturally comes with Breach 3, and then during pair with a Cyber New type, it has that ability where whenever a Titans destroys a card in the opponent's shield area, this card heals 2, which is nice. It links with 4 Murasame. It's a level 5 +2/+1 pilot, kind of similar to Zex Marquise. But during Link, whenever you recover HP, you get to draw 1 card. It is once per turn, but even drawing 1 card is nice. Drawing cards pretty much comes at a premium in this game. So this Link pair becomes like a 6/6 monster. You get to run into something smaller, breach 3, your opponent takes a damage, and then you get to heal 2, and then trigger 4 to draw a card, which is nice. But you can actually heal multiple times, potentially 2, since it's not once per turn on the Psycho Gundam. So if you have other Titans in play, you can potentially deal additional damage and then heal additional times, that's what I was talking about, where like you want multiple Titans in play. At least that's what a lot of these cards seem to read like. As far as the rest of the Titans go, we have a few low drops. We do have a vanilla level 2 1 cost 2/2, which is nice. It's the second one in blue, so you could play 4 of this and 4 gyms if you want to in a blue aggressive deck. So it actually opens up quite a bit for the color, so to speak. And like I said, for the low drops on Titans, we have a level 2 and a level 3 that both say on deploy give another Titans +1 power. I guess it could give himself +1 power, but they don't link with anything. And then we have a couple of interesting level 4s, I would say. One of which is the Gundam Mark II Titans. It's a 4/2, so it's a little bit understated, but it does have that during pair ability to, very similar to the Unicorn Gundam level 5, you can fetch back the pilot that it was paired to on destruction, as long as you discard a unit card. Again, it only works with level 3 or lower pilots. There is a level 3 pilot within Titans, since it does link with a Titan in Jared Mesa. All he does is basically become a +2/+1 while you have another Titans in play, so it's nothing super impressive. But I will say with this Gundam Mark II is that it does trigger with any level 3 or lower pilot, so you can, in theory, put a Sailor Mass on it and pick it back up, or even in other colors like Shara's Nobble, for instance. I don't know if that's actually something you want to be doing, but it's definitely an option. Another one I thought was kind of interesting was the Virulent at level 5. This one's a little bit understated compared to other level 5 units as well, because it's just a 4/3 instead of being like a 4/4, for instance. But when paired, which it says when paired with anything, I will note, you can choose any rested enemy unit with 3 or less HP, and it cannot be set as active at the beginning of your opponent's turn, so it actually stuns something, which is cool. It can be nice crowd control against aggro decks in a way, because, blue, you have a lot of resting effects, so maybe you can like rest something with your Amuro or a Siege Ploy or something, and then play the Virulent, pair it. You can even pair it with an Amuro to rest something and stun it, which is kind of cool too. So there are some options there. It also links with Jared Mesa, which I talked about earlier. And then we do have an additional Psycho Gundam that can link with 4 Murasame. It actually links with any Cyber New type, but it does naturally come with Repair 2, which directly falls into 4's ability to draw a card when you repair. So this is kind of nice as well, where with 4 you can make a 5/5 attacker that can draw a card at the end of your turn, potentially. So I definitely don't hate that as well. So overall with the Titans package, I think there's some potential here. Of course, you're not going to be playing every single card, but the Psycho Gundam in particular is something that even without other Titans in your deck can be something relevant that we could be seeing in the meta. I will say that level 6 is a bit late to cast. We are in a aggro heavy meta at the end of GD01 with, a lot of weenie decks like blue-white aggro, blue-red aggro, and especially blue-green aggro being very, very popular. So I'm a little bit hesitant to say where Psycho Gundam can size up in that sort of metagame, but I think in a slower, grindier metagame, this guy's pretty good. And then for a few other cards outside of the Titans, we do have a few Oz cards in the form of like this new level 4 Tall Geese is a 3/4, links with any Oz trait, but it's mainly going to be Zex Marquise. During link on attack, you get to rest any 2 HP guy, which is nice. I definitely don't hate this one. It's a nice thing that can link with Zex on turn 5, and then you get to like draw a card potentially while resting a small blocker like a Zolwart, for example. But of course, the big thing that you guys probably want me to talk about in Oz is the Gundam Epion. It's the other LR in blue for this one. It's big, it's flashy, you know, it's our big level 8/7 cost, very similar stat line to the Wing Gundam Zero, but it's a 6/6 with Zex Marquise. It can become an 8/7 monster. And then it has that during link ability where it gets to effectively attack twice, and you get to potentially like kill 2 things in combat, and off of Zex Marquise you get to like draw 2 cards. So this thing's a big monster, but like I said earlier with the Psycho Gundam, level 8 is pretty late, especially when we're not playing with rampers. Like in green you have like the Wing Gundam Bird mode or Gundam Death Scythe. Maybe you would play this with green to have that ramp available to you, but yeah, level 8 just comes down pretty darn late, and it does have to be linked to use its ability, as opposed to something like the Wing Gundam Zero at level 8, which just blasts a board without any need of a pilot. So I am a little bit hesitant as well with the Gundam Epion as far as where I would see him sizing up in the metagame. Like I said, guys, it's really cool, but level 8 is just so late, especially when we're in an aggro meta. Now, if we're in a more control-y, grindier meta, I can see this guy shining. Just because he's big, he breaks the board very handily by himself. But yeah, it's just having to get to that level 8 is like the big question, right? Now there is one other small archetype in blue to talk about, and that is the biological CPU or Earth Alliance traits. And basically from Gundam Seed, we have this pilot, which is like a 3-in-1. It's Orga, Krot, and Shani. It's Earth Alliance and biological CPU, which that is the trait that links with a lot of these other Gundams in the set. So when linked, if it's a blue unit, choose one enemy unit with blocker rested. Very similar to Amuro, you can effectively play with something like 8 Amuros in your deck if you play 4 of this and 4 actual Amuros. But obviously it's not as flexible as Amuro. It's being level 5, has to be linked, and it can only rest blockers, so this one's definitely less powerful right out the box. But we do have a couple interesting Gundams that can link with it. We have a Raider Gundam MA mode, which is just a level 4 2 cost. It's just a vanilla that can link with biological CPU. We have a couple of sort of like silver bullet types of Gundams, like the Calamity. Once per turn, when its AP is reduced, you get to choose an enemy unit and deal 2 damage, so this is kind of nice against Akira Yamato deck in white. We also have the Raider Gundam, which is a 4/4 at level 5, and once per turn, if it receives effect damage, you get to draw a card, which is also pretty cool. So it's just a couple of units that have like very specific matchup type effects, where like you want them for specific matchups, but they're kind of useless in other matchups, unfortunately. The one I'm probably most impressed with out of this archetype though is the Forbidden Gundam. It's a level 5 3 cost that naturally has blocker, and it's a 4/4, so it's the exact same stat line as the Perfect Strike Gundam in white, which is nice, but the fact that it's in blue also adds a lot of flexibility there. And it can link with any biological CPU, like I said before. Also, during your turn, it cannot receive battle damage from enemy units that are level 2 or lower. So, for example, in blue-white, you can play with this with the Archangel, since Archangel can untap any blocker. You can swing it into a weenie for free without taking damage, and then use the Archangel to set it as active to have that blocker available. So, I actually do quite like this Forbidden Gundam quite a bit. I think this one's pretty good. And then we have a few other honorable mentions just as far as like cool tech / utility cards that you can play. We have a couple of bases like the Dominion. On play, you can recover 2 on a blue unit, which is kind of cool. You also have the Alexandria. It's a level 3 base. And with this one, you get to ping a rested unit, very similar to like a gun tank or an Aksha, which is nice as well to be on a base. We also have some interesting utility commands, such as Dramatic Turnabout. During your main phase, you can choose a friendly damage unit, heal 2 on it, and then draw a card. So it's a nice little cantrip. Level 5 though, it does come pretty late. It also costs 2, so it's like 40% of your level 5 turn, if you want to think about it that way. So I'm not sure how much play this one would see. But we have another command that I'm a bit more interested in, which is Beneath the Mask. It's a level 1 cost command, and main/action, choose 1 or 2 enemy units that are level 2 or lower and rest them. This is a really cool utility card against the weenie aggro decks like blue-green especially, where if they try to go super wide, you know, during their turn, on their first attack, you can use the action step to beneath the mask and rest 2 other units, so you get to deny 2 attacks from your opponent potentially. Or even during your turn, you can use it aggressively to rest 2 of their active units that they just played and then use your board to trade into their board. So there's definitely things that I like about this one. It's kind of tough to say if you would want to play a card like this because obviously it's not super good against the more slower controlling decks. This would definitely be something where, like, if Gundam were to have a sideboard or something, I would definitely want to play something like this. But for the way the game is currently played, I'm not sure how much play this one would see unless aggro is extremely prevalent, which honestly it might end up being that way because we're already, like I said, in a very aggro heavy meta. So definitely be on the lookout for this card as well. But yeah guys, that'll be it for my review of the blue cards. Of course I didn't talk about every single card, and if there's anything super significant that I missed, definitely let me know in the comments below. But definitely be on the lookout if you're interested for the rest of the colors that we'll be going over. And yeah, remember to like and subscribe as always, and thank you all for watching.